All right. Hi, everyone. I'm going to be talking about with my dad right here. Here's my dad. I'm going to be talking about the education system, and how it's changed over the generations. I'm going to be talking about how it was when I was a kid, and then I'm gonna have my dad, right over there, talk about how it was when he was young, and then I'm gonna talk about my observations of the education system now with kids much younger, from my experience working tutoring kids in math at Mathnasium for the past 2 years. So I guess we can start off with me talking about how the education system was for me. I can say that when I was in elementary school, I seldomly remember ever having to do much homework. Like, I don't really remember having to do any really math homework besides just doing multiplication tables. And I read a lot. I was a really big reader in elementary school, and I was one of the biggest readers in the school, but I was very self-motivated. It wasn't because I was forced to, or that it was expected from me. I never felt like it was expected. I felt like I did it because it was something that I wanted to. And in middle school, I definitely felt very little pressure. I was kind of more the rebellious type. So in middle school, a lot of times I wouldn't even really focus at school at all. It wasn't really until high school that with the AP system, it was a bit more competitive. And I took a couple of APs and did well in high school. But yeah, really for me, I didn't feel school was that rigorous until high school. I definitely felt like I had a childhood, for sure. So now that we have me addressed, now my dad here can talk about how his school experience was growing up. How was, so how was elementary school?
Well, when I went to elementary school, we didn't have any homework, that's for sure. And we always had breaks and or recess and lunch, and we'd always play kickball and tetherball and all kinds of games with other kids, and we were very active and would go on the jungle gyms, we used to call them, do pull-ups, swings, running, playing tag. And when I got home from school, same thing. No homework, go outside and play with kids in the neighborhood and do things. And then in high school, it got a lot more about sports. Always played sports and girls and going out with friends, but really we're very little homework.
So there was
the homework inside school.
So there was no AP classes back then.
No
there was
classes.
No intense pressure with having to do your best and for colleges, or people thinking you're dumb if you don't take 5 APs or
nope.
Yeah, that wasn't an
None
existent concept back then.
No.
Yeah.
None of that. People were more into social stuff, friends, and again, I was in sports, and we always had the drama club.
Yeah.
People in that, and gaming might have just been starting. Nintendo.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Atari.
Yeah. And what's really unfortunate now is that from when I was in school, that I felt like I had a pretty good time in elementary school. I don't remember having really homework that was mandatory at all. Now, this young generation now, kids that are 15 years younger, or say 15 years younger than me, it's just gotten so much worse. At Mathnasium, they have, I've had kids private tutor them. This one kid for his an upcoming test, and the kid was very stressed out in elementary school, only 9 or 10 years old, as if it were high school. And every day the kids have to do these big book packlets, and they have tons of homework. And at Mathnasium, some of the kids go 6 times a week. right? And well, they used to have Saturday morning cartoons for you. Even for me, they kind of had Saturday morning cartoons. Now a lot of these kids can do math instead on Saturday. Yeah, and and there's much more pressure with playing instruments, doing a lot of extracurricular. I mean, just a lot of higher expectations for younger kids. And I know in Mathnasium, I mean, some of the kids have even kind of talked about a little bit how there's just a lot more awareness of anxiety and depression. A lot of the kids have a lot more anxiety and depression. And, I just feel like a lot of the really strict standards of like, if they don't perform all these expectations that weren't given at all for me when I was really young, that they feel like they're failing their parents or that they're failing society. And I think that has just a huge part in why there's just so much mental health issues going on.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
So you're saying that kids don't get to be kids anymore?
Yeah, I mean, kinda. I mean, they feel more like little high school adult. I mean, for you, college students. For me, more high school. For you, like college students.
Yeah, they're little adults running around.
Yep.
Trying to impress everybody.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really sad. It's like those pictures at the museum. Remember the Renaissance?
Oh.
With the little children in the pictures that look like adults?
Yeah.
Remember Rembrandt was painting all these little kids that looked like adults, but they were 4 years old?
Yeah.
Wow. So in a way, we might have went backwards to Renaissance times when the kids were supposed to act like little adults.
Oh, I mean, that's interesting, but there's a lot of truth.
It's only academic, though. They don't have to do anything for themselves.
But, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. Nowadays, if you misbehave in class, there's a lot more ramifications. I mean, I've heard that, stories of young kids getting diagnosed with ADHD. I've heard it's a common thing, and that would have happened to a lot of young kids in the old days, but it didn't happen in the old days, and now it does.
Yeah, what they called it then was hyperactive.
Yeah.
They were a hyperactive kid.
Yeah.
I knew a few. Kids with hyperactive behavior.
Yeah.
Different name.
Yeah.
But they didn't take it as seriously. Yes.
Yeah.
They were hyperactive. They weren't giving them drugs for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully things will get better, but, definitely it's a very different time period we live in for sure.
Aww.
Yeah. So, well, it was very nice being able.
Look,
yeah.
Coming, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
it's like a lot of expectations for these young people.
Yeah.
Don't want to disappoint Mammy.
Yeah, or Daddy too.
Or Daddy.
Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you about this very important topic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Better suck my stomach in.
Yeah. Well, all right, everyone. Well, that was my dad's perspective on school. So my dad and I went on a nice walk. It's good to stretch out the bones. So.
Tell them how long.
It's gonna be like a 5-mile, 6-7 mile walk, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good thing. So, all right, everyone, it was nice making this video. Everyone have a good one.